Hi, good evening. I think my last two videos somehow picked up few viewers, not much, but hundreds. Because when I compare my previous videos and the last two videos somehow seem to have gotten some like views. Although it may not be much, but still I'm worried a bit because I feel that my videos are not well polished, or so to say, well not. I didn't go through very thorough script writing or like that. So my videos are basically what comes out from my mouth, and I'm worried. What if it misleads, or what if it misinforms some people? So I don't really recommend you, if you are watching this, I don't really recommend you watching these videos, because these are for my personal practice. And not only that, if you think you are okay with any views, then fine, you can continue watching this. But if you think maybe you will go for like different views, then I'm worried, because I don't want to mislead people, because these video ideas are not on like very refined video ideas or refined scripts. And I'm worried because of the last videos. Although it might not have performed like 1,000 views or hundreds of views, but still it was 100 plus. So I'm a little bit skeptical, because 100 plus views, it's small, but when it comes to head count, 100 is a huge. So I'm worried, what if my video misleads people? So especially those who are like 18 or 19 or below, I will not really recommend you to watch this, because it can be sometimes misleading because of the idea, or maybe because of how I convey the idea, and maybe I'm not be good at conveying the idea, so it can mislead people, and I'm kind of worried about that. So if you are someone who is okay with anything, then I have no problem. But if you are that kind of person who is a little bit critical, or who tend to have different opinions, then I'm worried. I know you will say, why don't you stop creating, or why don't you stop uploading on YouTube? But since I have taken up this challenge to improve my English, so I'm trying to do something different. Maybe I'll delete all these videos, or maybe not, when I start real or serious content creation. But for now, I'll be just doing random videos like this without proper script or without proper structure of the video. And of course, I'm planning to get back to serious content creation as soon as possible. But for now, for maybe for a few weeks, I'll be continuing with this. And apart from that, today's video's topic, it will be beauty pageant. Nowadays, this is something very common in our community, something which is really common, and we all want to be a beauty pageant. Even me, if I were a 6 foot tall guy, obviously I'll be in beauty pageant industry for sure. But today I want to talk about the history, or the idea that comes out, that lies behind or dated back to, let's say, before the Common Era. So even today's video is going to be very controversial type. You have different opinions, especially girls. I don't recommend you watching this video if you're watching. So today's video is beauty pageant, and when we look back at the history, or before the Common Era, we call it before Christ. So in the history, in the Greek methodology, we saw that there was a beauty contest of the three goddesses for the most beautiful goddess, and that because of that beauty pageant, it sparked the Trojan War. That is the myth. And although there might have been different causes or different factors which might have led to Trojan War, but this was one of the spark, or that spark the Trojan War. That's the myth. That's the story. And even in ancient India's and Europe's, they have different stories relating to this beauty pageant. Not exactly beauty pageant, but those days they compete like they. It's a society dominated by male during that time, and so they compete like who have the best woman or who have the best wife, like that. They compete, especially during festivals and celebrations. They compete who have the most beautiful or most graceful wife. So there are several accounts of this competition, or where women compete for the most beautiful. And coming back to present, this beauty pageant what we have today is like taken, or they have got some idea from those history and they brought to this refined version or the better version of the beauty pageant. Although this is nowadays, the beauty pageant has been a very positive thing. It has transformed and it has like evolved into a very positive form. But when we look at back, it's has some kind of negative impacts, because I don't know whether you agree or not, but these were actually meant, or this were actually a way to suppress women, or to keep the women at a certain level and the men dominates themselves. So by this I mean men, they treat like women are just properties or like the price. So they brought women to compete themselves for who is the most beautiful. So women, they compete themselves among themselves. For men, they don't have that. They don't really compete for like the most handsome man or like that. But for women, they compete as if women were prize. So there is this mindset created in the minds of the women to compete, like they try to be better. For example, if you are wearing something or if you're doing something, you always try to be better than the other women, or like that. There's this sense of competition in the minds of women. In men we have as well, but not as much as not as much as the women. So we used to say we all are beautiful in God's eye. We all are created equally. We all have our uniqueness. But sometimes that has left me to question, then why do women compete for the most beautiful or the title? I know you will say they don't really compete for the most beautiful title because it depends on overall. Of course, I agree with that. But beauty pageant, and of course beauty is like one of the top category, or one of the top factor, because normally you don't see ugly girls competing for beauty pageant. You don't see a fat girl, or so they say a very short girl, or a very ugly, I don't want to use this word, but for understanding, let's say ugly girl. So that is the mindset that men, the patriarchal society has created into the minds of the women. They compete themselves. They have the kind of standard. We have the very slim and very tall structure, and they compete for the most beautiful women. Beautiful includes everything as well, but of course we will say all women are beautiful. We have our own uniqueness. She's beautiful, inner beauty. But if that is really the inner beauty, then why don't we see short girls, or why don't we see fat girls competing for the competing in the beauty pageants? So this is kind of stereotypes, I should say, or kind of mindset that patriarchal society has created in the women, and you will see as well, because you will not see men's beauty pageant as popular as women, because men for now, because of the companies and all those organizations, they introduce this men's beauty pageant as well. But when we compare it, women's beauty pageants are far more like competitive or far more recognized, because women are more or less considered as prize, as I've said in my previous videos as well. And I'm worried, and maybe I'll stop here with this topic. Maybe I'll try to get back next time with more refined research, or maybe better scripts. So if you're watching, like always, thank you.